Lesson, we're going to discuss the quotient rule for exponents. The quotient rule of exponents. When dividing powers with the same base, the rule is simply keep the base, and this time we're going to subtract the exponents. So notice in this example, and anytime you have it in fraction form, that's the same as dividing. So when you notice that the base on top is the same as the base on the bottom, and if they have exponents, you are simply going to subtract their exponents. Let's do example 1. Notice you have it in fraction form, so it's a form of division. So let's use the quotient rule. Notice the base is the same for top and the bottom. So we're going to keep the base of x, and we're going to subtract. It is always going to be top, take away the bottom. So it's going to be 10 take away 2, which is going to give us x to the 8th power. It doesn't matter whether it is a number or a variable. If the base on top is the same as the base on bottom, the rule is keep the base and subtract their exponents. That is, top, take away the bottom. So here we have -3, and 6 take away 4 is going to give me 2. So -3 squared means -3 times -3. A negative and a negative is going to give me a positive. And so the answer is simply 9. Let's do 2 more examples using the quotient rule. So again, the quotient rule says if you are dividing terms and their bases are the same, keep the base and add their exponents. So in the first example, notice that on top you have a base of p. You also have a p on the bottom. So keep the base of p, top take away the bottom. That's going to be 7 take away 1. Q's bases are also the same. Keep the base of q, top take away the bottom for both p and q. That's going to leave us with p to the 6th power, q to the 5th power. When you're dividing, in the case of the second example, if you have something that does not divide evenly, such as a fraction, then that means you're going to have to simplify that fraction. So 7/14, you can cancel out a common factor of a 7 because inside 14 is 7 times 2. Okay, so make sure that you always reduce your fractions. Now in terms of the variables behind them, notice the x's have the same base. The y's have the same base as well, and the rule is if the base is the same, keep the base is top, take away the bottom. Very important that you remember that take away. So for the x's is going to be 3 take away -2. The y's is going to be -3 take away -6. Okay, notice I'm saying take away. So what that leaves you with on both of these cases is double negatives. -2, but with a negative in front of it becomes +2. -6, but with a negative in front of it becomes +6. So when we combine those, that's going to leave us with 1/2 x to the 5th power, y to the 3rd power. It can also be written in another form, because any time you have something on the side, it is the same as being on top. And if you like, you can write it on top, and then you're not going to write the 1 there, because remember, we don't write 1 in front of the variables. So then rewritten in a different form would be x to the 5th power, y to the 3rd power on top, with 2 on the bottom. Again, it is the same. Both answers are the same. It doesn't matter. Either way is acceptable, and there you have it, the quotient rule of exponents.